Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
Because she's gone, what's the point in paying for my ticket? I don't
Yeah.
give a shit about croissants.
Yeah.
George can fuck off and I can sit home, crack open a Guinness and watch the footy. Thank heavens! It's Thursday. It's me.
Yeah.
It's George. It's Drum and Drummer.
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good.
Cool. What you got, boy?
What do you want first?
Well, you
Going
mentioned,
straight in.
it's cold.
Yep.
It's the doldrums of January.
Mm.
How are you sleeping, boy? How are you sleeping?
We're going with sleep talk. Well, I'm sleeping more. I feel like this, the last year, going into this year, I've become more like an animal that hibernates,
Yeah.
So in the summer, I was out. I was out all the time.
Yeah.
I worked more in the summer than I've ever worked, almost in the way that a squirrel is getting more nuts than he's ever got. He's just getting loads of nuts because he's going, well, there's loads of nuts about at the moment. It's summer, sure. But come November, there won't be so many nuts. So that's what I did. And I didn't feel like I slept from April until about October. But my God, I had some nuts at the end of that summer. But then goes into winter, or berries, or whatever they can store. You can't really store berries as a squirrel, I guess. But got to winter, and I was sleeping loads and working less. And I was like, well, actually, this is how squirrels do it. So maybe be more like a squirrel. So I'm still.
If it's good for the
lot.
squirrel, it's good for the George.
Yeah, if it works for them,
Yeah.
And
they know what they're doing.
they've got a
They've
system.
nailed that.
Yeah. So I think maybe that's how it should be in general. Work loads in the summer, and then when it gets to winter, just calm down a bit. You know what I mean? Rather than 9 to 5, the same throughout the year.
It's harder. It's harder to, is it because you're knackered? So you just naturally, obviously gigs die down in winter. But it's just harder when it's darker and colder.
It is harder.
Harder to get that.
And I know I have to
motivation.
wake up at about 6:20 tomorrow morning, not evening. And already I'm sort of dreading it. So I'm like, it's going to be rough. And then I've got 2 full days at work. And it's just, you wake up and it's dark. I have to really get out into the sun, if it's sunny. Otherwise, I feel
Maybe
like I've
you're
missed
solar
out.
powered.
I think I am a bit. I mean, we're all, we've all got to get that vitamin D to some extent.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
You're great at an outdoor gig.
Depressed. Yeah.
2 hour set, no problem.
No.
Pop
you get
'em
some
indoors.
vitamin D and you're
Starts
gigging.
dropping down around Seven Nation Army.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're playing for the White Stripes. How's your sleep going?
Good. Sleep is good. But I've just, I knew I was doing it at the time,
Yeah.
but I've just fucked myself for the whole week.
What did you do?
Straight off the bat. I started watching the Traitors.
I was going to say, is this going to be like Ben went on a night out or...
No, I very
Ben
much did
watched
not
telly.
go out.
When was this? Last night?
This is last night, yeah. This is last night. And it was, I think the second season's now on, being broadcast at the moment. I've never seen it. I heard about it. I just heard everyone raving about it.
Yeah.
Traitors is great. The Traitors is so good. Oh, you got to watch the Traitors. And I don't know about you, George. I'm sure most people feel this. When people bang on about how good something is,
Yeah.
your resistance kicks in and goes,
Yeah.
I'll be
Game
the
of
judge of that.
Thrones. I've never watched Game of Thrones because of that.
Oh, you've
Yeah.
never watched anything. So
Well, that is true. But I think I specifically never watched Game of Thrones.
yeah.
So I thought-
And I delayed watching Game of Thrones for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And I've done it a lot with things. A bit of Game of Thrones, Shawshank Redemption, Schindler's List. Keep it light, Ben. But you get it's quite common, isn't it, when people keep raving about something
Yeah.
to go. I don't know what it is. I'd love to, a psychiatrist or whatever, psychologist, one of the psychs,
Yeah.
to go, oh, it's because of this. But you go, it's almost like you'll go, I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're telling me I like it. Well, yeah. Oh, you
Yeah.
think you know me?
Well, I don't. Yeah, maybe it's part of, and I don't think it is this, but your mate, I won't say his name, who doesn't like anything if it's popular, but almost deliberately goes out of his way to be like, well, I'm not watching that because obviously it's popular. But if it's an indie film, oh yeah, all over that.
Yeah, and it is hard because Mrs. Brown's Boys is popular, but that is a pile of dog shit.
Yeah.
So you go, well, which large number of people like it?
Yeah.
If it's the Mrs. Brown's Boys lot, get fucked.
Mm.
But it's obviously popular for a reason,
Yeah.
innit? Anyway, so I was like, I'm going to give it a go. I'm not the biggest reality TV fan. It's a weird blend of reality and game show.
Yeah.
Not a hugest fan of that sort of stuff. But I've been known to watch them. I've been known to dip in the old Bake Off. I've watched a bit of I'm a Celeb.
Yeah.
You know? I watched the first ever season of Big Brother.
Yeah.
You know? We are the generation.
Everything you've watched that's...
No.
That's the episode. I've watched this.
I've watched episode 4 of The Bill. He's not even been in The Bill. Come on. And can I see your tickets, please? Sorry, I think it was, anyway.
Ben's quoting extras again.
Yeah.
Carry on.
That's for you, Roger. Right. And then I was like, I'll give it a go. 10 p.m, 10:30.
Oh my God, just get to it. Yeah, go on.
Popped on episode 1. Let's see what's going on. Oh, yeah, cool. Oh, I think I was up to about 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I watched 6 episodes.
Yeah.
They do this like challenge thing in the middle of the day where they earn money. Skip that. I just want to fucking know who's being voted out or who's being murdered. Not literally murdered, but who's been. So, but as I was doing it, I knew I was just fucking myself over for the whole week.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, I did have a nap, so I'm not immensely tired. So just go with it. I'll just watch another one. Fuck it. And so I've started the week on Monday. I'm very little sleep. Let's plough on.
Well, good.
But
yeah, I didn't sleep very well.
Because you've never watched films, so...
Well, I have,
Is there any part of that is like because people say they're good?
No. It's nothing to do with that. I think it's just I'm more of a TV person. And I think I almost see everyone else as, well, everyone watches a lot of telly. Like anything I say to Alfie, I'm like, oh, there's this new show. I've seen it. I'm like, oh, okay, you know? And I always feel like, wow, how does everyone watch everything that's out? But my thing is...
because we don't go out.
Well, I think also I watch the same stuff. So I don't really watch anything new. I sort of watch Peep Show and just stuff like that.
Just
almost for like background noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, I don't know. But no, it's never been like that. It's never, I don't know, just... It's not like a sort of rebellion. Like, I'm not going to watch it because it's popular. Slumdog Millionaire? No, you know. it's like I'll watch it. But it is good because there's a lot of things I haven't seen, you know. So
saving them up.
Saving them up. I don't know when I'll watch them. But yeah, anyway. Right, moving on though, because
what you got, boy? What you got?
You know, we're often... I wouldn't say told off for not talking about drums, but it's been noted that we don't talk, and I don't feel like the past few episodes I've mentioned drums at all. So I've got some drum stuff.
Sure.
Book stuff. Real nitty gritty shit. But it's worth it, I think.
Oh, that's one thing. No matter how good a book it is, I ain't reading it.
Yeah, that's...
So
yeah.
just put
that's
that
fair
out
enough.
there. Yeah.
That's fair enough.
The Bible, forget it.
Which one?
The Bible.
Oh, yeah.
Who? Too long.
I mean, who's read the Bible all the way through, you know? From back to back.
Bloody swats.
Without checking your phone, you know? Like... Anyway, so, obviously, I'm still having lessons with Pat
How are they going?
Great. Really good. But I've started doing my own, what I call, independent study, because that's what it is. I didn't coin that phrase or anything. So, so basically, we've been working on my technique in the lessons with Pat. And I've started going, well, why don't I use this technique for good? Yeah. So, book, stick control, one that I don't know why I'm sure. I mean, you can see it, but the listeners can't
show
see
me,
it.
yeah.
But this is something that Connor Hopkins spoke about. And I was thinking, well, I'm going to go back through this book and and do it from front to back, cover to cover.
You already owned it?
Already owned it.
Sure.
But never really used it. So basically, it just has variations of hand exercises. So the first chapter, call it a chapter, single beat combinations. Pick one. Actually, pick a number between 1 and 72.
Ooh. Let's go 51.
51. Okay, so that's right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. That's
Always the same.
Yeah. Pick it up. Let's go 42. Left, right, left, right, left, right, etc. Things like that.
Are they just eighths? What are they? What's the rhythm?
Yeah, did you say rhythm?
Rhythm.
Yeah, no, they are just eighths. And
just eighths.
And
what? 4 bars?
2 bars.
2 bars.
And I'm just sort of doing them just as taps, just keeping them light. But anyway, the book goes on like that, and then it goes into triplets, flam beats, doubles, stuff like that. The thing is, I've learned all these bits with Pat, and we're continuing to learn them. So I'm like, that's good. So that's book number 1. There's a trilogy to this. So that's stick control. And then I thought, God, when I'm done with that, where can I go from there? I'll tell you where I can go
Stick
from
control 2, electric boogaloo.
Not quite. Progressive steps to syncopation for the modern drummer.
Forward by Duncan Goodhue.
By Ted Reed. So this book, sort of the same, always the same, sort of the same vibe. It's got patterns with the hands, but now you're involving the kick drum.
Right, okay.
So let's go to lesson 5, for example. The first bar is da 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 da, but you've got the kick following the beats, basically. And then it just kind of gets trickier as it goes on, and there's more variations with...
So it's just kick and then snare?
Just
basically.
Kick and snare. Just kick and snare.
And this is building up syncopation between your right foot or your left foot.
And your hands.
If you're
sure.
Lefty scum.
Lefty
and your hands.
Play that way. And
okay, stop. Okay, so let's take that exercise 5.
Yeah.
Get it out again.
Well, should we go to a trickier one?
No.
All right.
Keep it simple.
Oh wait, I can't remember where it was. Lesson 5. Yep.
Right. Bar 1. How long is how long is it?
Well, it's 4 bars.
4 bars.
It's
okay.
a line.
So is it just kicks on
just kicks on the beat. Just kicks
on 1, 2, 3,
basically fall
4.
to the floor. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's your is the snare rhythm consistent through the 4 bars, or does it change?
Yes. Yeah. On this it's da 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 for 4 bars. But then I feel like, well, that's a good question. Yeah, it's kind of like that throughout the book. It doesn't. Oh no, it does. When you get to later on in the book, then it changes. So this one, and that's
the kick drum.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You don't need to hear me beatboxing. God, do you reckon anyone listens to this shite? Me just fucking.
Right, but let's talk about now you practicing that.
Yeah.
Right. So are you doing it on the silent kit?
Yeah.
Silent kit. Okay. I'm just trying to get to. How long are you spending on like that one exercise? When are you moving on? What's your
good question. Good questions.
Method. Just because I think it could be quite easy if you're doing that like da, 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 you're doing one of those things.
Yeah.
It could be very easy to go, oh yeah, I can play that.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time it's not the point.
No.
It's not about the complexity. It's about, I guess, consistency.
Yep.
Not flamming between the kick and the snare.
Yeah,
so they are the kick and the snare essentially landing exactly the same time. What's your self-discipline when you're doing those?
When I practice, so I go through the stuff that I need to do.
Yeah.
Go on, you had something.
No, I was just going, bit of Seven Nation Army.
Yeah.
A few big fills, we're off. Done.
Yeah. All the Arctic Monkeys songs. So I do that. I go through all the stuff I need to do, and that might take an hour in itself. But then stick control's actually kind of tricky in a way, because there's some that just sort of, they're not hard, but if you go from one exercise to another, you sort of might have the last one still in your head, and then you have to think of a new one. And the book says play each line 20 times in a row and then move on to, so that's tricky in itself. And at the moment I try and do about half an hour, but sometimes it's, you know, when you get to a point where you're going, this is just not happening, it's basically half an hour or it's not happening anymore.
And what in your head is making you go, this ain't happening?
It's just it's kind of, if you play a line and you get to the 17th time and fuck it up, and then you do that again and you keep doing it.
What do you mean? You fucked up the rhythm?
Just as in the placement. I'm really like, if I mess it up, I start again. I go, no, you can't count that.
But if you mess up what?
As in, say if it's like this one, right, left, 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 repeat. If I go right, left, left, right, I'm like, nope, start again. Right. So I'm really sort of like disciplined with that, you know, just do it again. But the things that I'm looking to achieve is it's the timing and it's consistency, because when you play through one, you can kind of work on it as you go. First you're trying to just get the order of the hits, and then you can start going, okay, let's maybe make it softer, and then make sure the taps align. And obviously I'm playing to a metronome, make sure it's in time with that. But I know what you mean, because sometimes you can sort of, you know, because the first one is literally just, hang on, I'm pretty sure it is, yeah, right, left, repeated, you know, and it's sort of like, that's a roll. So
it's not,
you know?
I guess my point is like, it's not, you're not practicing because they're like musical pieces to be performed. So the rhythms aren't complicated, you know what I mean? Or like,
no,
it's not about that. It's, I guess, yeah, is it, you know, stick control, isn't it?
Yeah, well it is. And it's
being
also
able to not be influenced by just, you know, everyone, you start off with right, left, left, don't you? A single stroke. So it's just building up that kind of, I guess, would it be like hand independence as well?
I think so. And I think it's also, you know, when people talk about learning better timekeeping, just practice really slowly, you know, if you've never done that before, and just play a beat and don't do anything other than play this beat for 10 minutes. And every part of you wants to just play a fill, but you don't. You just stay on it, and it can be boring, but it's good, because it's sort of, I don't know. Already, I think there's so many good parts to it. You're playing along to a click. You're doing things that sort of might bend your head a bit and go, oh, what is that? Fuck that up. Start again. And also, it's just putting the technique I have into practice with different exercises.
I guess that's the other thing. It's like, what's, you know, the priorities is. I'm just thinking maybe the priority can be misaligned, and you could go, I got to get the rhythm, I got to get the sticking right, and actually it's the sticking secondary. I think making sure you're doing it with good technique. Yeah,
I think so, and I think that's perhaps why I was put off by these books when I first got them, because I sort of knew my technique wasn't good. You know, I sort of thought, well, what's the point in playing right, left, if I know that my hands aren't correct? But now I'm pretty confident that my hands are pretty good, you know, for at least tap strokes. So I think, right, well, let's see what I can play in this good technique. It's just basically doing that. It's basically getting a bit of, okay, I can do that, so let's explore what I can do with it. But then the last book, I've got to tell you this, 4-way coordination. So this involves both hands and both feet. And this is mad, this book. I mean, it's just sort of like all the variations of right, left on the hands and right, left on the feet. And I can, you know, I'll post some pictures on the pod. But it's just, I think before I sort of tried to use these books and went, well, what's the point? It's almost polishing a turd. What's the point in trying to learn these pieces when I know that my technique's shit? But now it's like I actually feel confident in my technique. So let's see what I can learn. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. It's I mean, I'm still just getting through stick control, but it's nice to have a sort of aim. And it's nice to have something that's sort of not for a gig or not for anything other than...
Yeah, play that stick control at a gig, you'll be booed off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
It's meant to be a left there.
Exactly.
Bloody crowd already know what... I know the hits.
Yeah. Know the hits.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good.
Books.
How was your gig on the weekend?
Yeah, good segue. Yeah, hilarious. Hilarious. So funny. We've played there. We played there last year for a questionable
It was our first
wedding.
Gig of 2023.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, it was my first gig of 2023.
Yeah.
With Decade. And it was, we think it was pretty new venue, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When we played there last April.
Yeah.
So it's electric drum kits. They obviously had sound concerns. And it was fine. You know, it was fine. And then Neil played there a couple of months ago. And so I'd had one of his, I think he described it as top 5 worst ever gigs.
Wow.
Where they'd obviously had a full season, probably their first full season of having weddings and subsequently bands.
Mm.
And now it wasn't only just electric kit, but no amplifiers.
Yeah.
No amps. Which, it's a chat for another time, but it's mental. I could see why they do it.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to keep the volume down. Yeah, but amps have volume knobs.
Yeah.
So it's the person controlling the amp who will be the idiot and turn it up.
Let's
Do you
be
know
honest,
what I mean?
they usually are, though.
But anyway, yes. So you played there again last weekend.
Yeah, my hopes weren't high. We found out it was an 80th birthday party. We went, right, okay. What's that going to be like? And it's electric kit. And we set up, and it was just so quiet. We were so quiet. But the thing was, I got to talk about this because this is quite an interesting drum-related thing. So the first set, we couldn't... Oh, by the way, our agency didn't give us the correct mixer, so we couldn't do any of the in-ears.
Right.
They fucked that up. And so no one had in-ears, so we were just sort of winging it. But it's electric.
What did they give you?
They just gave us some other desk. You know, the rest of the band are livid.
What was it? It wasn't a Behringer?
No. No,
Was it like a proper, more old school desk?
Old school 70s desk, you know.
Like with faders?
Yeah. So we didn't have in-ears, and we were playing the first set, and I just couldn't hear anything I was playing. So this is something interesting. So I was playing on Ox's kit, our friend Ox. Thank you, Ox, for the kit. And I was sort of playing. I was like, this is bollocks. I can't hear. But the thing was, I've never felt less in control of the band as a drummer, because I could feel everyone sort of changing tempos. Like the singer would perhaps slow down because, say if it's like Valerie, they might be used to playing Valerie slower. So I was like, I feel like this is slowing down. And I was trying to like, come on, everyone, let's pick it up. But it's like I couldn't do anything because I have no noise, So I was sort of trying to hit harder on the electric kit. But the thing is, electric kit only goes so loud anyway. So it was completely pointless. But
Velocity 127.
Yeah. But this is the thing. In the second set, Joe gave me just a floor monitor so I could hear myself. But also I looked at the kit and it was like, there's these bars and it was like, you don't have to hit it that hard to get it to like the loudest thing. So then I sort of relaxed and I was like, oh, well, there's no point in trying to whack it because it's going to sound the same anyway. And the second set was better. And, people were dancing, it was fine. But I got to tell you this was the funniest thing. So, I mean, for a start, we were so quiet that when Lucy got the tambourine out...
Yeah, that's going to be too loud straight off.
Louder than everything. It was like, wow, this is... Thankfully, she's on it. Great tambo player, Lucy. But it was like, oh, that's all I can hear now. But so bear that in mind when I tell you, in the last 4 songs, there was a guy who started clapping in the audience, but so badly out of time. it was almost, I thought he was a drummer doing it on purpose, perhaps maybe he's like but yeah, but no. And I'll say one other thing. I always get to gigs and go, not always, but sort of go, I wonder if there's a load of drummers at this gig. And then you see something like that and you're like, oh no, it's not. It was like, it was so wildly out of time. I can't even do an impression of it. It was like, it was just...
Well, yeah. It's staggering how we forget some people literally have no rhythm.
Yeah.
Some people just don't have it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll get to a breakdown in a song, and even if you're just keeping the kick going,
yeah,
and the crowd starts clapping, and then you can just hear a couple of claps, really just not going with the crowd. That you know, you got 60 people all doing it sort of fine.
Yeah.
But some people, it's like some people can't picture anything in their head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And it is mind-boggling.
As I say,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've seen some, people make some dick moves.
Yeah.
But to be a drummer and do that on purpose,
I'd love to.
I must just also say, because the reason you couldn't hear yourself is because this venue has a built-in PA system, doesn't it?
Yes.
Or does it not?
I can't remember.
I feel like it does.
I never set that stuff up. I'm usually.
And so obviously with electric kit, either way, you're behind the speakers.
Yeah.
Or it's one of them sound ceilings. So if you can't hear, if you haven't got in-ears or a monitor.
Oh, it was wild. So, but this guy clapping suddenly became the loudest sound in the room. So Ben and Joe had to walk over to my kit and just stand over me to literally see where the snare hits were falling, because this guy, it was just all over the place. And it was like, it was impressive. It was like, I'm not even trying to sound like a dick. It was like, how have you not got it? Not even one beat in time. This is mad. But
staggering, isn't it?
But I've played with singers before.
I know a book he could use.
Yeah, exactly. I've played with singers
Clap
before.
Control by George Pickering.
Yeah.
George Cookerin.
I played with a singer once who just couldn't clap in time. So he used to have to watch my snare and be like, clap, and then look at me and be like, is that right? And then I'd be like, yeah. And then he'd be like, come on everyone, get clapping. And I was like, so even some singers yeah, mad. But all in all, fun night.
It makes me think, like, a venue like that, they've obviously like gone, oh shit, bands are loud, and they've probably got problems. After so many gigs now where there's sound emitters that are just so quiet, or they've got these inbuilt PA systems, and they're tiny little like 10-inch speakers, 8-inch speakers, or they've got these bullshit sound ceilings that focus the sound on the dance floor, and they're just so rubbish that as a band, well, even if you've got in-ears or not, like, you're just like, this is a joke. We will never be good because we're the circumstances we're being put under. Yeah. And then that makes me think, the people paying for these bands, for our bands or other bands, and then we know what we're putting out is shit. Yeah. But it's not our fault. No. If we're shit because we can't play the songs, fair enough. Yeah. But that don't happen. No. You know what I mean? Like,
Joe said that. He was like, it's mental. They paid $2,000 for this, and this is like, and
this is awful. Yeah. Electric kit, no amps. It's all going through a shitty, very thin speaker system pointing on the dance floor. If you step off it, I had one guy, can you turn it up? I could hear him talking.
Yeah.
From 10 feet away, and you're like, and then one tambourine or one clap can just dismantle. And you just think, like, this is where'd you put the blame? And it has to be on the venue. Yeah. It has to be. Yeah. And there's so many venues out there, in my opinion, hosting bands for weddings, and essentially you end up feeling like you're conning the bride and groom, or the person whose party is, the person who's booked, because you're like, this is rubbish. Yeah. But on the flip side of that, we're musicians. We know what it can be. We know the good, bad, and the ugly. So to someone, someone who can't even clap in time, to them it could just be, this is amazing. Yeah. So that's what it's very hard to see what the other people are thinking, what that perception is. Yeah. But are people just going, great live music?
Yeah, I think they are. Because I've seen some pub bands that are awful, but everyone dances.
But it's a restriction, isn't it? That I feel the frustration for me personally is like, I'm proud of my ability, and I'm proud of the bands I'm in and playing, and and I like showing people I'm quite good at it. And when those restrictions are in, you're like, it doesn't matter what I do.
I think that's another thing, because I wasn't playing with any sort of enthusiasm until the last few songs where I started laughing, and then I was having a good time. But I was sort of watching people watch me and thinking, are they thinking this guy isn't really into it? But it's because I couldn't hear myself and I'm hitting some pads.
And you can't explain it to them. I'll just let you know. So there's this thing called a sound. There's this thing called this is shit. Yeah. If you see me at a good one, that's why.
Yeah, come to a Ren gig and then then we'll talk. Do you want to know about croissants?
Yeah, go on then.
So, keen listeners will know that last week I spoke about a croissant making course. It's great. Probably one of the best days of my life. No, it was brilliant. You turn up. I didn't know what to expect. There was go on. Croissants, yeah. And
number one on the list, surely.
Pan of chocolates. Pan of chocolates or pan of chocolat? Who knows? So I turn up and there's this tall guy.
You on your own?
Yeah, on my own.
Okay.
Did you think I was going with Alfie?
Yeah, because she bought you it for Christmas, right?
Yeah. But
so she's paid for a day out, for a day off, a day at home
away from me. Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
A bit like wives of men that go to the UK drum show. I've bought you this. Go with your mates to Liverpool.
I could do with a day off. What does he like? Bacon.
Exactly.
There you go, George.
Exactly.
But usually, I guess what I'm saying is that if someone in a couple buys a gift for an activity for their partner, they buy 2 tickets.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because she has no desire to bake croissants, I don't think. So if it was like,
I respect it. If
it was like a tandem bike, then
she's
sure.
gone, what's the point in paying for my ticket? I don't give a shit about croissants.
Yeah.
George can fuck off and I can sit home, crack open a Guinness and watch the footy.
Yeah, she moved the flat round. She put the bedroom into the living room.
All right. But
that's a whole other story. So
what, really? She did?
Yeah, that was what she did.
Right, that's why she's done it then.
Yeah.
Did she tell you she was going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. She just didn't want you there.
No. I think
she went,
well, I
let's treat the little lads to
when it was done at 3, she was like, oh, I thought it finished at 5, so I think she was fully expecting.
She was gutted.
She's like, I
paid for the whole day.
It's bollocks. Yeah. Anyway, so turned up. There was a sort of wiry man who was like, hey, how's it going? Very deep-spoken, interesting, sort of socially awkward man. And then a small Spanish chef. He was sort of her assistant. And I was the first one to arrive. And then there was like 6 other people, so there's 7 of us. It was like a older couple, and the woman kept like making digs at her husband, and no one was laughing. It was kind of uncomfortable. And then there was a man who brought his mum, and that was sweet. And then there were like 2 students, 2 lads who came along. So I was instantly like, well, I'm going to become best friends with them. And yeah, just sort of went through all the process of croissant making. So we did the, how you shape them, how you make the dough, how you do the lamination. Do you know what lamination is?
I've got a laminator. I imagine it's not the same process as
sort of
A4 bit of paper.
It's where
you make it shiny, innit?
Yeah.
Shine it up with a bit of butter.
Yeah. You put butter on dough and then fold it over and then keep folding it over and then roll it out and fold it over some more. And that's how you get the lines of dough butter all the way through a croissant. So we sort of just...
Did you have to take anything with you?
No, you don't have to take anything. But we sort of just learn all the bits, like in a sort of backwards order. So we do like the proving, so they get bigger, and then you cook them at the end of the day. Even lunch was delicious. They made us this quiche and salad and these sort of chocolate pudding things. Great day.
Are they plugging their quiche making course?
Well, do you know what? They were sort of, because they are a bakery.
If you want to learn how to make this?
It was almost like, well, if you like it.
See you on
we
Tuesday.
we make it our cafe. But no, it's just a great day. It was exactly what I said about, if you want to learn how to learn some sort of, I couldn't have learnt technique just online, on drums. And it's the same with croissant making, there's only so many videos and books you can read, but, to actually get stuck in, it was great day. Now I've got loads of croissants. I've got some that I cooked. I've got some that I made but haven't cooked in the freezer. And then I've got this big ball of dough for when I want to make another batch. But question to myself, do I think I'll do it regularly? No, because it takes about 48 hours from start to finish, because you've got to make the dough, rest it for a day, then you've got to make and then rest them and then prove them and then...
So how did they negate that in the course of
Good question. Another good
6 hour
question.
day?
So they had dough ready made, and then we just sort of made that into our croissants. And so that was why we used pre-made dough to make it, but we were allowed to make our own dough, then take that home, because obviously, can't do a 48-hour course in a day. But it was great. And get this, I've signed up to another cooking course in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Pizza this time.
Right.
Fatto Romano, the best pizza place in the world, in my eyes, are doing a pizza making
ever
day.
heard of a little pizza place called Domino's?
But an email came up. Hey, do you want to come and... Yep.
Was this through the same company?
No. Very different. No, I mean, they do it their own thing. I mean, both companies sort of just do it their own. I mean, it's January. I'm sure it's the same with anywhere. They're like, fuck, we haven't got any money. Let's teach these idiots how to make dough, But yeah, thoroughly good day. I'd recommend it to people.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to cook something, get on a course, because it's going to be a nice day. You get fed, you learn how to do stuff. I'm not into spa days, so that's my equivalent of like a spa day, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get to make some food.
Or if you want to get your partner out of the house for the day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speak
Find
to
what they
Alfie.
like. This is a Drum and Drummer pro tip. If you want some time on your own, just, buy them a cookery course. That's all I got. Did you have a segue from croissants?
I did. It sort of stems from you doing this course in person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
To then, I briefly mentioned last week about mixing and sitting in with Neil. Did a little mix session together. And mainly because I think I've just done not to blow my own trombone, I think I've just done the best mix of my career.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about the fact that it's the best mix I think I've done. The band might fucking hate it. So if they do, then it's irrelevant what I think of it. But I'm very proud of it. I'm like, but it's not necessarily it's more about breaking through a plateau. And I think, same with drumming. I'm sure you're having plateaus and breakthroughs with all that sticking and that. But so what was it? So, I've been mixing professionally now for 12 and a half years, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's the story as old as time itself. You think you're good, but you're not.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. And then you get better and you think, I've got it sus now.
Yeah.
You haven't. And then you do something else and you go, right, okay, yeah. No, you're still shit. You're still shit compared to... you can still make something sound good.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if your clients are happy, great. But people's expectations are high because what they hear out there is very well recorded, well mixed, polished, well mastered, records.
Yeah.
And that's what people want to sound like. Anyway, so I've definitely, I've improved, and you've got to keep wanting to improve. That's key, whatever it is you're doing. But it's very easy to kind of get stuck in a rut and do the same thing over and over again. Like, I want to, I do this to my kick drum, I do this to my guitars, and I pan things like this, and this is my vocal chain. And it can be very hard to disrupt your own methods.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things where, it's the same, what I'm trying to tie this into drumming, but so many YouTube videos out there, or so many people going like, do this and you'll be better, do this and you'll be better. And so much of it is horseshit.
Yeah.
Or it's good information, but it's the wrong information for you. And the problem is with art or things like that, it's so subject. There is no right or wrong.
Yeah.
There is, there's fundamentals and basics that should be nurtured. But other than that, you can mix a guitar however the fuck you want. If the client's happy and if people enjoy listening to it, it doesn't matter how you got there.
No.
But there are general principles that apply. Anyway, so it's where do you get that information from? Where's your trusted sources? And so many people, essentially like clickbait, of like, get this plugin and it will change your... And it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a good plugin because what it does, but it's about how you use it and understanding how it does. And one thing that's really... I felt when I did this mix and I finished it, and I was like, the process was enjoyable, so that's number one, that's good. And I sat back and I think, it just, to me, sounds what I kind of want a record to sound like. It sounds big, it sounds, there's energy. It doesn't sound digital, like it's got an analogy sort of feel, like that full-on, in-your-face, in your ears, realism to a mic up against a guitar cab or drums being hit, things like that. And the lows are good, the highs are good, it's well balanced. It's a very well played song, and it's a very well arranged song. Again, that's not me. The guys who wrote it did a lot of the arrangements. But one of the so basically, like, I've been mixing a certain way, and you're like, you kind of do the same things. You're like, I'll do this again, and it works on some recordings. You struggle on others because you're trying to apply blanket methods to different things, different recordings, and then you tweak. But what you really learn is, after about 5 or 6 years, for me, this was the case. You go, you got to use your ears. Yeah, you really have to use your ears. And actually, what happens is your ears. Right. So basically, I've been mixing a certain way and getting good results. People were happy. I was happy. And then, me and Neil got together to work on this new Victoriana promo. And he was like, I'll mix it at the studio and we can just sit together and just see if we've picked up anything up over the last couple of years that might be good for either one. Workflow methods. It's very easy. You just go, even on a technical level in Pro Tools, if you just do that, it moves that. And you're like, oh my God, that's changed my life, a little technical thing. Neil's great. And he showed me a few things that he was doing. Most of it I was like, that makes sense to my ears. That's what I would maybe look to do, those sort of things. But he had a few techniques, especially with drums, and other little things with guitars that it was like, that sounds really good. I'd be really interested to try that out for myself. But what I found interesting was it can be very hard to hear a subtle EQ change. It can be very hard to hear what a compressor's doing, or what saturation's doing, or what a limiter's doing, or those sorts of things, or high pass filters, low pass filters. It can be very hard to hear them. But I see on Reddit or something, someone's like, I play around with compressors, but I just can't hear any difference. And a lot of the replies, and I agree with it, because you have to train your ears to understand what they're doing. And Neil was making these changes, and I was like, I can really hear what that's doing. But in a weird way, more so than if I was sat there doing the same movement in the plugin. So what that led me to was like him being there and pressing the buttons and it being his decision to do that thing, but me sitting there hearing it and seeing it visually was so impactful in about 5 hours watching, because I fundamentally understand what he was doing. But it's weird, like if I was sat at the computer and I made that change, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to hear the change as well as him doing it.
Yeah.
It was like my ears opened up. And I think that takes me to like, oh, him just showing me these few little bits and watching him do that just like 4 or 5 hours. Then I did my mix and I tried to implement some of these, and I went back just to double check what he'd done, and I started implementing them. Don't forget, with 12 years experience in mixing behind me already, but I was just like, oh, I can just hear everything better. I can these decisions I'm making feel better. And it was like instantly I leveled up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's what you do. And it's mental because I've been doing it so long.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, some of these, just all these things just made more sense. I could hear what everything was doing a bit more. And I really believe that's because I just sat with him and watched someone else do it in person for a day. Yeah. And I think that kind of it's a very long-winded way of talking about it, and I think that really reinforced to me, and not to say you can't learn from online, you can't learn from YouTube, and I imagine it's probably quite similar to you and Pat, just the difference of being in that same room and having someone physically there and showing you. And I guess even if Pat's showing you something, maybe you just being able to see it right there live in the room is so much more impactful than watching that on a YouTube screen.
I think it is. And I think that's why I always, whenever I try to learn or improve my drumming before studying with someone again, I'd give up within 20 minutes because I thought, well, I don't know I don't know where, first of all, I don't know where to begin, but also even if I do find the right things to learn, how do I know if I'm doing it correctly? I think it's just, it's obviously so important to work with someone who can, show you that you are doing it the right way. And get that feedback. And, because otherwise you don't know what you're doing. But that's what, to bring it back to my books, it's only now that I sort of go, oh, actually, I feel like I can go away and learn stuff on my own and feel confident that I know all the correct things that I should be looking for, making sure it's not flamming and making sure it's in time and my technique is good. But I think, I don't know how you'd learn. And also it's nice to learn with someone else, It's like I'd much prefer, learning croissants from a nice old Spanish woman, she's not old, than BBC Good Food, to bring it back to the croissant course. But, I think for you, and I think something else I was going to say, mixing, it's funny with those things because whenever I've had a quick go on Pro Tools or anything, I sort of go, oh, EQ, let's try this. It's like, woo! And I'm like, I don't know what that's doing. It sounds maybe funnier now, So I think that's another thing that you mentioned, which is true. You do, it's you can learn, you can use all this stuff, but if you don't know what it's for, it's pointless,
Yeah, and I think it is just taking it's probably taken me about, the whole career, but really seriously, where I start thinking, going, oh, I'm doing some good stuff, it's maybe 5 years ago, and now it's but it's almost like it wasn't just watching Neil. Some of the things he said was and almost there was a lot of validation in going oh, he's done that. That's maybe what I'd done. He's done it like this, and I can hear the benefits of him doing that thing. He may have just gone about it in a different way, but kind of also then when mixing being, it just takes. I see a lot of things on Reddit, and it's drums, recording, whatever. People are like, oh, I've been doing this 3 months, and how do I get better? And people are like, practice and time. And it commonly comes up, especially with mixing. It's like, oh, you won't be any good until you're about 10 years in. And that's not because you're not talented or not musical. In a lot of cases it is. People go, I want to record music, and they can't play an instrument. It's mental. It's mental. That or the equivalent would be like, I've been playing drums 2 months, I want to be in a band. Well, all right, well, give yourself a bit of time to practice, you know. Is how long it takes, and it's almost like muscle memory. And I think with the mixing, although it's not like a physical thing, but I think it can be the same with like running. You run it or weightlifting, you're trying to break a PB. I did it with deadlifting. Just couldn't get a PB for love nor money. And then you feel like you're getting worse. And then all of a sudden, bang, PB goes up instant, you know, like nothing.
Yeah.
And it's not just those conditions on that day, or in this case of the mix, good drums, good recording, good song, good production. It's a cumulative effort of the last 5 years. And for just some reasons, all come to the front and made sense. And I'll go, oh yeah, you can now hear these things. You can now, these decisions are coming clearer. But also as well, it's not to say that my next mix won't be shit.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I leveled up. And one of the big things, I won't go into it now, but one of the big reasons why was with the drums was the power of the ambient and overhead drum mics as opposed to the close mics. So I'll go into that another time. Yeah. And I also wanted to say that for next time as well is cleaning cymbals.
Yes.
To clean or not to clean? That is the question.
Well, if that's not a reason to come back next week, listeners, I don't know what is.
And find out which one of us is the traitor.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, of course you haven't.
We should wrap this up.
We should, yeah. I'll cut this down because this is lengthy.
Just cut out whatever I said. It's a 10-minute episode, you talking about mixing. Well, see you next week.
Yeah.
We might have a guest at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
See.
Get on the old Instagram, innit? Find us at Instagram. Send us an email, drumandrummerpod@gmail.com. What's the Instagram again? Yep. What is it?
Drumandrummerpod @drumandrummerpod.
I think it's Drum and Drummer Podcast. I'm going to double check because it's mental. We don't know. Drum and Drummer Podcast.
There we go.
Twitter @BallDrummers. Get in touch.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hey guys, just an episode about practice, leveling up, plateauing, croissants.
It's good, yeah. Well, I'll say one more thing because we do need to end. That's my thing with drums now. I think I was always in a rush to like, right, I've got to do. But now I'm like, I'm not going anywhere as a drummer. And if I stay in good health, you know, I could be drumming for the next 50 years. So it's like, I don't want to say what's the rush, but almost like I do want to see how good I can get, you know, just in every respect. That's why I like doing this fucking independent stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely a lesson to be learned from patience. Like,
yeah.
I imagine with those stick books, on the surface, they look quite easy. Maybe the 4-way coordination one, not so much. But what I was alluding to earlier is it'd be very easy to feel like, well, I can play exercise 1.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
Let's get to exercise 27. It's not about getting to exercise. It's about taking your time and making sure exercise 1 is perfect. And sometimes it's not about completing it and ticking it. It's about cumulatively over the time what the brain and the muscle memory and the hands will lock in. And eventually, and this is what I wanted to kind of say, the mixing. And eventually, if you just keep doing that graft and keep doing that stuff, then all of a sudden, maybe when you least expect it, bang, you're going to level up. And it's not one little thing that does it. It's the cumulative effort of the last X number of months or years that finally your body and your brain click in and go, you can do it. It makes sense.
Exactly. And that's what I like. I like when when I'm trying to do something and it fucks up. I like when it fucks up and I go, oh my God, why can't I do this? That's why I quite like that now, you know, because it's like, well, that means I'm learning, you know. If I went, oh, this is easy, then what's that in a fucking booth on my own? Like, who am I impressing with that? You know, oh, I can do this. Who's listening? Who's listening to me? You know. So it's like, just when I'm like, oh my God, why can't I do it? Then it's like, good. That means it's going somewhere. Anyway,
That's bad.
See you later.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.